Luke, let's begin with you. BTP's totally battered through the week. We wondered when the political risk would bite. Here it is. Are they a buy yet?
No, I don't think they are. I think you know, you can easily say it's going to be really difficult to get a whole bunch of stuff through for Italy, and that's right. But, you know, we've got to get this government off the ground. There's going to be so much rhetoric from them right at the beginning of when they get things done and how they're going to be so successful and they're going to get Brussels to support them and everything else. So, you know what, it's here or hereabouts. But at 164 over Italy, I want to see this 170, 180. You know, the European sovereign crisis is not that long ago, and we could get back to something that looks a bit like that.
Really?
Bit like that, but it feels to me that that should be 200 to compensate you, right? Not 160.
Do you think you might be being conditioned by an old trading regime to some extent, though? Is redenomination risk still a factor in Europe, or is this just about an increase of BTP supply? Two really different things.
This all depends on how far Brussels comes towards Italy. If they don't come anywhere towards Italy to help them out with their fiscal spending plans, which are massive, then no problem at all. If they come too far, if they give a little bit to Italy, Spain's going to look over and say, why are we going through everything we're going through when Italy are getting it easy from Brussels? Then you have redenomination risk, and you have a lot more risk in Europe, and you'll be back to 1,000 over for Italy, not 200 or 300.
So that's your answer then. Why would the Europeans do it, Joe? Why would they let that happen?
Yeah.
Why give an inch to Italy to allow Spain to follow and to let all of this get out of control again?
Fair point. I think Europe's response will be very measured. Ultimately, we're not convinced that much will happen, or a lot will happen, as opposed to what's being talked about now.
Would you buy BTPs where they are right now?
Yeah, we think they're fairly priced. There could be better points of entry, though.
Interesting. Diana, your thoughts?
I think with the political stories, especially when the outcomes are uncertain, I don't buy when it's only fairly priced. I buy when there's some premium and some cheapness in the price. So I think it's still too early. We don't know exactly what it is that you're going to get in the end, who the Prime Minister is, who the Finance Minister is going to be. So we wait and see how this plays out.
Look, we have this really interesting situation in Europe now. We used to talk about core and periphery. We now have super core, core, semi-core, periphery and super periphery. Yeah. It's becoming very, very different in the way it's changed. Spain and Italy just used to trade in lockstep, and now you've got Germany on its own, France on its own, Spain on its own, Italy and Greece somewhere out there.
And even more interesting, who leads in Europe, right? That leadership's changed as well. It's now Macron who's going to be the voice of Europe, because Merkel's lost so much power. How he responds to Italy, I think, is the key story to watch in the next couple of weeks. If they want to push forward on the fiscal and that suits him, then actually you might see Brussels come a bit. But, you know, this whole splitting up market, that's a classic approach to trying to, you know, find ways of diversifying your portfolio and, you know, and explaining it to your clients. It's all Europe. It's all the same risk. It's just, you know, Italy at the moment, I agree with Diana entirely. Buy it when it's cheap. Don't buy it when it's fair.
You don't like BTPs now?
No.
Do you like bunds even less?
Yeah.
Is it that bad for bunds?
Yeah. Yeah. You're 2 years past full capacity in Germany, right? You're seeing wage rises coming through. You're seeing the need to get the fiscal expansion out there for the rest of Europe, but for them it would be disastrous.
But the front end is just there, like a coiled spring, pushed down by a depot rate of negative 40 basis points. When do we start adjusting for a change there?
We've been negative 40 and plus 90 in the 10-year.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not that. That's a year and a half ago. That's where I feel that would be fair value. That would be pricing in where Germany should be going. And I tell you what, in October, when Draghi is no longer buying Germany, maybe that's when you start seeing a move towards 90 or 100.